better not try to stand in my way as I'm walking out the door. Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more.
Greetings, Donald here. And for example, if you're an ambitious, a talented, maybe you're kind of at a mid-level in a big company, and you want to claw your way up to the C-level, and you can't figure out how, and people don't really seem to notice you, or they take you for granted, you look like everybody else. Well, this video, I believe, will give you some insights. The basic idea is this, is that, say for a resume or a LinkedIn, it could be anything, but the idea is that you might have gold locked up inside your head. Many people at this level do. They've got gold locked up inside their head. They can't access it because they're too close. They can't do it. I can't do it for myself. I've learned this having done this for 1,700 people. There may be gold in there, but somebody other than you from outside has to mine it. And that could be me. It could be somebody like me, although there's really nobody like me. I do this better than anybody. But having said that, somebody from the outside has to help you get it out of your head, get it out on the page. Like this drawing says, you cannot interview yourself. You need help from the outside. So if you try to interview yourself, your internal glass ceiling will stop you. You're just too close to be objective. And you say, well, what's the glass ceiling? Glass ceiling is every kind of fear you can imagine. Maybe fear of stepping into the spotlight, fear of being perceived as a braggart, fear of taking credit for anything. The list goes on and on. But an outside reviewer blows right past that, gets to what you actually accomplished and puts it on your resume. And if you let the glass ceiling stop you, no matter how smart you are or how much better you are, your career will probably stall at the mid-level. Your personal story will not impress anybody for promotion to C-level. And like the person I talked to this week, you will probably feel resentful that your doofus boss and worse, your doofus colleagues have jumped ahead of you. By the way, the obvious application of this principle, the internal glass ceiling, we're talking about your resume and LinkedIn. But breaking the glass ceiling also applies to your personal brand, your so-called elevator speech, every piece of spoken or written communication that pertains to your career. I call this the resume in your head, and I'll come back to it in a minute. Meanwhile, here's an example. Somebody I talked to this week, he went to a very top school like MIT for engineering, and he graduated from good schools for a master's in engineering and an MBA, but he's stuck at mid-level at one of the world's largest corporations. He's one of several IT directors, and he's resentful about it. And if what he told me is true, he performs head and shoulders better than his colleagues. He believes that he can outperform his boss. But now look at his resume. What does this show you? This tells the world that he's a low-level techie. He's lost in the weeds of project details, and he can't show that he accomplished anything big for the company. Not only that, his presentation is impossibly dense to read. It's crammed. He's guilty of another techie stereotype. To an outside reviewer, he looks like a techie who cannot communicate. And before I go any further, I empathize with this person. I started out a long time ago as an electrical engineer, BEEE and MSEE, and my bosses told me to be short and succinct. Get to the point. I didn't listen. Then I migrated into sales, at which point my bosses beat the meandering, windbag, techie style right out of me. They forced me to change my ways or get fired. And eventually I got the message. So this resume is so impossibly dense that nobody will read it. Here's his summary paragraph for his current job. Also unreadable and very unimpressive. But as I asked him questions, it became clear to me that he had accomplished some big C-level things. But those accomplishments are locked up inside his head, and you won't find them on the resume. For example, he took charge of a strategically important project to outsource a big piece of IT, the first outsourcing project of its kind at this scale in the company's history, critical to the company's long-term survival, and 2 prior attempts had failed miserably, but he actually succeeded. Bang! Not only that, he devised a methodology so that other parts of the company could follow his lead. Bing! Now his resume is showing leadership for the worldwide enterprise. Bing! As a result, he saved many tens of millions of dollars for his own sector, and probably over time, he'll save hundreds of millions for the worldwide enterprise. Bing, bing. I didn't have time to figure out all the follow-on benefits and value he created. But that's how you crash through your glass ceiling, okay? An outside interviewer asking you questions like that. And if you have real results for employers, if you have made a big career or a potentially big career, then invest in yourself, hire an expert, somebody like me, to squeeze that golden information out of you like squeezing an orange, and we'll monetize it. I'll add tens of thousands of dollars to your next job offer. So I'm out of time. Gotta go. As always, I wish you the very best of good luck with your search.